You American? Dirty black American?
Normalize not putting up with disrespect, even when it comes from a woman.
Why you said that? Because that's what y'all are. Dirty black American. You American?
Shalom. Once again, all praises, honor, and glory unto the Most High, Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushai, Hashem, Kwadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of the Great Millstone, and salutations to all you sincere camp. And this is your brother Abawan, back again with another video through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushai, Hashem, Kwadash. All praises and glory is due, especially in the times that we're in. And you heard the video, and this is a video that's currently going viral, and it's a Haitian woman that I think she came to one of these podcast channels, right? And as soon as she just walked in, right, they asked her, you're not going to see the full context in this clip because I want to show, right, the main point, which is, she came and she called, Jake in Babylon dirty black Americans, right? And allegedly she's a Haitian woman, so she's Levi, and she was speaking to Judah, and she called them dirty, black Americans, right? Which of course, is causing waves online, is going viral, and people are looking at it and saying, see the disrespect, right? See the way in which these other groups of so-called black people, because are not black, were Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, the scattered Israelites that are scattered around the four corners of the earth. See the way that they are speaking to us and how they are disrespecting us, and you now have these different groups that have been formed from that, your ADOS, your FDA, which is basically going into quote unquote delineation. So what I'm going to do is I want to get the definition of the word delineation. So let's get that. Delineate. So let's start from there. So this is the definition of the word delineate. Describe or portray something precisely. Indicate the exact position of a border or boundary, right? So when they are saying, they say that they are delineating, right? But they mean it does not. No, what they mean is that they are basically describing, right, and basically, differentiating themselves from other groups of so-called blacks, right? So it's just another. Oh, it's like that's the apostle that has just got it up. Anyway, that's another so-called groups of your so-called black unconscious group, right? But that's not the point of this video. The diaspora wars and what one group of and what one tribe of Jake is saying to another tribe of Jake in the world is not the important part of this video. The part of this video that is the focus is basically the division that you have among the two thirds, right? Among the two third peoples, among the two thirds, basically your diaspora wars, which is, and the reason why you have a diaspora in the war, why you even have diaspora wars in the first place, is because of the scattering. Let's get that. Because of the scattering of our people, which is a part of the curses, right? That the Most High, let's get that. That's in the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. Another evidence, another proof that we are the Hebrew Israelites, because which other group of people are scattered so far and so wide throughout the four corners of the earth? Okay, suppose you are a BHI, a black only Hebrew Israelite, right? Even at that point, you still have a huge diaspora of so-called blacks, right? The Southern Kingdom alone, right? You have Jake here in West Africa. You have Jake in Central and South Africa. You have Jake in the Caribbean. You have Jake in North America. You have Jake in South America. Black Cubans, so-called black Cubans, so-called black Colombians, so-called black Brazilians, so-called black Ecuadorians, so-called black Panamanians, so-called black, basically in almost every region, right? In Babylon, you have the Southern Kingdom, a prominent group of the Southern Kingdom there, right? Afro Latinos, and then if you now bring in the whole nation, right? You see that there is a clear scattering of our people throughout the four corners of the earth, and out of all the nations and all the people that exist, our people are the ones that are scattered the most all over the earth, because once again, it is the curses that will be put upon the Israelites in these last days for the disobedience of our people. So let's see if we can find our precepts. The Most High will scatter our people. Let's find it. Let's find it. Let's see. So this is the book of Deuteronomy 28, verse 64. And Jehovah shall scatter thee among all people, from one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. Right, so our people have been scattered around the four corners of the earth, right? And I've only just mentioned the northern and southern kingdom, right? I've been scattered in Americas and here in Africa as well. We haven't even gone into the Israelite foreigners as well, which is also another group of people that have been scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. You know, your Scottish, right? Your Irish, and I've been recently seeing news about the Dagestanis, right, which are basically, you know, these Slavic groups that of people, right, and hey, they might be Jake as well, you know, but you have these different groups of Jake that have, you know, have been scattered into the other nations that may look like the heathen but are actually Israelites, right? And when you go into the world, you see that there is so much divisions, right? Or that you see so many divisions among our people, where you have, you know, different groups classifying themselves with different names, different bywords, different proverbs, beefing among each other. Okay, so you have, you know, the so-called African Americans, right? The so-called Black Americans beefing with the so-called Caribbeans and the so-called, you know, other blacks, so-called blacks of other different groups, and that's what you really see with these quote-unquote diaspora wars. And of course, you know, diaspora means is the scattering, which we of course just went into. Okay, so let's get this as well. So okay, I've already gotten that. So we're going to get the definition of the word diaspora, right? Diaspora. So this is the definition of the word diaspora. A diaspora is the scattering or dispersion of people from their original homeland to various regions across the globe while maintaining cultural, emotional, or political ties to their place of origin, right? So we have a diaspora of the Israelites, okay, not the so-called blacks, not the so-called Africans, but the Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. What I want to do right now is I want to see if I can find a better video to go into about this whole to see so I can see the full comments of what she said, right? She called Jake in Babylon, right? Or specifically that guy, he called him a dirty black American, which of course is one of these which of course is just the slur, right? So when you call somebody dirty something, you're basically insulting them, you know, to make them look, you know, less than, basically. So I'm trying to find it, but it's all just responses to what she her comment and not the actual comment itself. I think it's from the Daily Wrap Up Crew. I think that's where she actually said that. So let's see if we can find it. Okay, so this is right here. So let's play the video.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is this Samsung S16 expensive? No. Now there is a special offer for our youth.
Here it is right here. So she just comes in and she starts cussing them out, right? So let's play it.
Who? As far as I'm Haitian. Why? Where you from? What's your background? You American? Dirty black American?
Wait, what?
Huh? Huh? What?
Wait, what you say?
So there you have it. That's basically what happened, right? So she steps in. This is 19 seconds in, by the way. Now just 19 seconds. She comes in. She says, I'm Haitian, right? And what background are you from? You know, Black America. And just straight up like that, right? And that's really. And then you now have all these responses from all these different groups, you know, your FBA, your ADOS, and so on and so forth. And that's what a lot of these responses they are saying, right? That's who they are from. So basically what you have is these diaspora wars and these divisions among the Israelites in the world, right? And what this is showing you, and the main point of this video and the title of this video, is that the unity of our brethren, the unity of our people, can only come from this truth, right? It can only exist in this truth. That's why you see that, you know, brothers are able to go out to the highways and byways, and it's like I was saying, that's why you see that brothers are able to go out to the highways and byways and teach, you know, regardless of what nation that they are from. And it's not just, you know, different groups of the Southern Kingdom against each other. So it's, you know, Judah against Levi, or Levi against Benjamin, or anything like that. No, it's also the Southern Kingdom and the Northern Kingdom and the adversary and the I want to say the adversarial nature they have with each other, right? So that's why you have these the Northern Kingdom, right? So that's basically the so-called Latinos. You always have issues between the so-called Latinos and the so-called Negroes, right? You have different conflicts and controversies between them in the world, and the Israelite foreigner, right, and the so-called Negroes and the so-called Latinos, the so-called Native American Indians, right? Because there is so much diaspora war, there is so much warring among our people, right? Divisions among our people in the world. But when it comes to this truth, right, you can only have true brotherhood. Okay, that's how you have these 2/3 in the world, brother. How you breaking it down, right? That's how you have these 2/3 in the world constantly calling each other brother and brother. But the only true brotherhood, the only true fellowship you see is in the truth among the Hebrew Israelites, right? Unity among brethren. Psalm 133 verse 1, a song of degrees of David. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity, right? And true unity can only come in this truth. And when I say this truth, I'm sure it goes without saying that I mean the 100% truth of the Most High, Yahweh Ba'asham, Yahushai Ba'asham Rakakwadash, right? No mixing and none of these false doctrines that you see being pushed by these other Hebrew Israelite camps. When I say the truth, I mean the 100% truth, the truth that exists in the Most High, Yahweh Ba'asham, Yahushai, that is taught by, starting of course with the elders and the apostles of the great millstone on down, the 100% truth, right? Psalm 133 verse 2, it is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard that went down to the skirts of his garments, right? So basically certainly refreshing to see, right? That's why it's always beautiful to see, the action together, especially during the camp videos, right? During the sit-downs and the lessons, always beautiful to see the accounts together, right? Going into the scriptures, okay, edifying, right? In unity, right? That's basically nothing greater than that. That's why the scriptures say that when 2 or 3 witnesses are together, right, there shall where 2 or 3 are gathered. You know what? Let me just go into it. Let me not try and butcher it. So that should be KJV, right? Where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name. I believe that's how it goes. Where 2, I just start with them 2 gathered in my name. Let's get that. So Matthew 18 verse 20. For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. And that's exactly why you have that precept right there, because that is the beauty right there. That is when brothers are gathered together, doing the edification, making the videos, doing the breakdowns, it's always a sight to behold, man. So now Psalms 133 verse 3, as the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that has descended upon the mountains of Zion, for there Yahweh commanded the blessing, even life forevermore, right? So that's I see what David was writing here, very poetic, but that's just how it looks when the brothers are together in when brothers are together in righteousness, right? It's a beautiful sight to behold, okay? And it's something that can only exist in this side, in this truth, okay? Because you see, the people of this world, there is always divisions upon divisions, divisions upon divisions, right? Not only from Jake against Jake, but even Esau, Edom, sowing divisions among the brethren, right? Sowing divisions among, not let me not say the brethren is like but sowing divisions among our people, using these different bywords, using these different proverbs. And that's how Esau has always operated. If you go into the history of Esau's oppression against our people, you see that what is something that Esau commonly does, where he gives 2 different basically the creation of the buffer class, right? Let's get that the definition of that as well. That's basically what Esau does, the creation of the buffer class. Let's get that. So I'm actually going to type it in, buffer class. Let's get that. So this is the definition of buffer class. A buffer, no, this is something else. It's something else. So that's not what I'm looking for. This is going into programming. This is not the buffer class I'm looking for. So let me try sociology, right? Because you have different bases and different definitions. Yeah, it is A buffer class in sociology refers to a middle tier group, often racial minorities, immigrants, or intermediate socioeconomic groups positioned between the ruling elites and the lower class to minimize social friction and prevent direct conflict, right? And that's basically what the buffer class is. That you have some jakes that are, some jakes that are raised up and formed and made to be their own group by Esau Edom, right? And then other jakes that are now at the bottom, right? Like the field Negro and the house Negro, right? They don't have infighting between, which creates infighting between the groups, okay, because they are looking at each other as adversaries rather than the true adversary, which is Esau, Edom. And that's what you have in the world, right? These different separations, these different bywords and proverbs our people use to separate themselves, separating themselves among tribalistic lines, ethnic lines, national lines, right? That were all created and set up by Esau, Edom, bywords and proverbs rather than your true identity and your true nationality as Hebrew Israelites, okay? And that is what is causing the division of our people in the world. And that is why you see that like I said, the only unity that exists among the Hebrew Israelites is the unity that exists between the men of the Lord in this truth. So with that, I'm going to end the video right there. Once again, all praise, honor, and glory unto the Most High. Yahweh Ba'asham, Yahweh Ba'asham, Rakakwadash, Wa Abad Babal, and through the Spirit. I hope you are calm and you are quite edified. Shalom.